How's it going? I'm Ryan. Today I'm going to go over the 4 trades I took on MNQ. Overtraded a little bit today. We ended up with a winning day overall. You can see the account balance is back up. So we're in the positive on the challenge account. First, let's take a look at some of the levels I was watching, and then we'll get into the trades I took. The big levels I was watching that came into play today was this 20,027, 20,076, yesterday's high around 20,090. It's level down here around 19,922, and then yesterday's low, which we didn't quite reach. See, we were pretty range bound. We had quite a bit of pretty choppy and very volatile price action. So today was pretty tricky. There were some really big moves, and there were some good indicators. But let's take a look. So I'm looking at a 5,000 tick chart here. This is kind of similar to like a 5-minute. We opened up the day kind of down around this support level around 19,920. I mentioned we had a big move up. We had news coming out 15 minutes and 30 minutes into the day. So I was kind of sitting around waiting for some of that to play out. We had this nice big move up all the way up towards yesterday's high of day. And really what I was watching for is with this strength that we showed in the morning, I was watching for, a pullback and a hold and continuation. Now we got one here at this level. We got a pullback, we got a retest. You see the few candles kind of sitting on that level before that move up to the next level. But the thing with that is right around 8 a.m. You can see that's just a few minutes. So we had news coming out, and I tend to stay away from taking a trade prior to news coming out, as it can influence price quite a bit. So that would have been a nice setup. However, did not take it due to the proximity of news. So we made this whole run up, kind of watched. We started to pull back here. And this is where I was starting to look maybe for an entry long on a pullback. However, you see we sold off very aggressively. These candles were selling right through the levels I was watching. No price action indicating that we were testing and holding these levels. So I did not take any position through here. I did take a position right here. So we sold off, we came up, we retested that 20 EMA. This candle closed weak, right? We wicked right off of it. We came up and tested it again. I entered a short position here. I was targeting this level right here. So I was targeting about like a 30 or so point move. And my stop loss was a break above those wicks here. So I had about a 15-point stop and about a 30-point take profit. So about a 2-to-1 risk to reward here. You can see we got a little bit of a move down, and then price shot right back up and stopped me out. That was my first trade, and that was a loss. My second trade, and this was a poor trade, admittedly. When we kind of pulled back into here, I entered a long position. Seeing that, we had this move up, we created this higher low, so this is still considered a higher low. It looked like we were pretty aggressive off that move. And so as we came down, I entered a long position here. Not a good trade. And when we broke below this level, I exited, because one thing I was watching was the 15-minute. 15-minute is a time frame that I've been really liking for kind of determining the direction or the strength or, weakness in the market. And what I was looking at is that we had this 15-minute candle wick above this level, close lower, this 15-minute wick all the way up here and close very weak. And then we are currently printing this 15-minute candle, which had wicked up and was closing weak. So with all those things, I was looking at this. I exited my long position and flipped short here. So when we came down, I closed my long and I flipped short right around it here. I hit this take profit that I had originally on that first short position, came down, filled that, and I was pretty much out at that point. That allowed me, and I did size up on this trade. So that allowed me to make back my losses, and I was up at this point. I guess I will mention that I did take a small short position. I took a small short position. I believe it was here, and it was because I had a really small scalp in the morning that was a win. It was like a $50 win. It was a small size and a small scalp, and it was the rejection off of yesterday's high. So I took this small move here. But that was a very small win, the rest of these. So I was negative after my loss on the short position here and a loss on a long position here when I flipped short, and then that move down was nice. Basically what my stop loss was is if we broke back above this level. So I had about, I think it was like a 13-point stop from where I entered, and my take profit was I think around like 20, a little over 20 points, 25 or something like that. So not quite a 2-to-1. But that brought me to positive on the day overall. My final trade was a short position right in here. And that was due to, we had this trend line. One second. Or excuse me, I apologize. I did take a short in here that was a win as well, and then I took a small loss on a single contract over here on a short position, and that was looking at this trend line right here. We connect these. Let me do that. Somewhere right up in. A little lower. There we go. Basically, I was looking at the continuation of this trend line, and I took a single contract short in here that was stopped out for a loss. Why did I take this trade? Because we were rejecting off this level, and we had this trend line. So this was another winning trade that I took. Once we printed this candle and this on this retest, I got a short position. I sold on this candle here. The way we came down and held that EMA, I didn't really like it, so I just took my profit. We did end up making our move all the way down to this next level, which would have been a nice win. And then I just, for the sake of just trying it, took a single contract short here when we were retesting that trend line and the EMA, and was stopped out on that move up. So overall, I definitely overtraded today, but I do want to take a look at price action and the levels, and kind of just look at what could be taken from this trading day, and how I could have done much better. So sitting on my hands on this move up, I took a quick short scalp that I mentioned. Sitting on my hands on this move up, I like that. Didn't really have many entries or price action that gave me confidence to take a long position with a good risk to reward. This move down, no entry there. That was a really quick sell-off, and I don't really try to get into momentum. I don't mind my short position here. I actually like that. The fact that we came up and rejected after that big sell-off, that is something that I'm not mad about. I had a clear risk to reward. It was a 2-to-1. It just didn't work out. This would have been a decent place to short after we printed this candle and retested this level, especially seeing kind of the weakness that we had in this area on the 15-minute as well. So that would have been a better trade. I think I was a little hesitant because of the strong move that we made up that stopped me out here. But that price action right here was a nice, that price action at that level of resistance was a nice indication for a trade. Likewise, this big move down, I did enter a short position here. Don't hate it, but probably wasn't as good of a trade, right? But I was looking at this weakness on the 15-minute and the ability, the failure to maintain price and close above that level gave me confidence on that short. So that wasn't a terrible trade, but it could have been a little bit better. From there, the trades that I think are valuable to look at are that we were range bound between these two levels, right? The rejections up here, I did take this trade, that worked out well. And then you see the support down here, we come and we wick and form a little bit of a hammer, kind of more of a doji, but you see that really long wick and it closed green, holding that level. I like that for if we are in this range bound price action, which we were. That's a pretty decent indication, and you see the volume accompanying that as well. That's a pretty good risk to reward trade to take long, as you see kind of the bounces that we've had in this area, and obviously that's a level that we were watching for a potential bounce as we had it from previous price action in the days before. So taking a long here, you have a clear risk to reward. You could risk off the low of that candle, target price action above you if you want to target maybe here first, or like up in here, or target the EMA even potentially. It gives you a nice risk to reward and a clear risk to reward there. So I didn't take this trade, but that would have been a good one. This short position up here, much like the one that I did take, I was done trading for the day at this point. But had I been around, that was a nice indication, right? We come up, we test it again, close weak, entering on this candle would have been solid. Like I said, you could target the EMA, you could maybe target the bottom of this range, and that's a pretty big swing, like an 80-point swing or so. So price action in the levels, I am feeling pretty good about the levels that I have, and then using the combination of the 15-minute and the 5,000 tick chart to kind of get a good feel on the weakness or the strength of price at a particular level. If 15-minute is failing to hold a level like we have here, and then we have price action on this lower time frame looking pretty weak, when those things are in agreement, I like those trades. And then just price action kind of reacting in a particular way to the levels that we're watching, whether it's looking like a bounce or a rejection in a kind of a range bound market, that can also be very valuable. So I could have traded much better today. I ended up the day positive. I gave a little bit back at the end with that single contract I took short. I was up about $200 on the day. I gave up about 40, so we end up 160 up. Nonetheless, I'm happy with the result. I'm not necessarily satisfied with the process, so looking to improve that. I really want to continue to grow this account and try to get this challenge account funded so we can really start to make some real money. But that's all I got for you. Like I said, I overtraded a bit. Definitely could have been a bit more patient and taken better trades overall, and I would have had a better result, right? But a win is a win, and we can learn from it. So that's the most important part. That's all I got for you. We'll be trading tomorrow, so we'll see what Friday brings. Maybe a little bit choppy to end the week. We've had some pretty volatile price action. You see these price swings are pretty serious. So it's all about risk management at this point, and making sure that when we do have these big swings, there's opportunity for money to be made, but there's also opportunity for losses if you're a little loose with your risk parameters. So we'll be back at it tomorrow, looking to clean things up a little bit and have just better discipline, better execution, and hopefully a similar winning result. But that's all I got for you. Thank you for watching. I'll see you on the next one. Have a great day. Peace.